How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to do different frame rates to see the difference in speed. So let's jump right into it. I thought today would be a great day to show you the differences in the frame rates to go between 24 frames per second all the way to 240 with the Sony A7S III because, well, it can do all of those. We're going to be using tennis as the example to showcase the realism of speed as well with it slowed down so you can see the difference of what each frame rate can do. That way we can have a little bit of fun to experiment. We're going to be using the ball machine back there where I'm just going to set up the camera to showcase a little bit of the hitting to show you what it looks like doing at 24 frames per second, 60, 120, and 240. The Sony A7S III does 4K all the way up to the 120, but the 280 is just full HD, so we're just going to have to do that and upscale it to 4K just so you guys know. That way you can also see how well it holds or it doesn't. So we're going to get right into playing some tennis and show you the difference of the frame rates to see which one you like best. Well, we're done right now with doing some forehands. We're going to be doing a little bit of serve as well to showcase the difference in speeds that way, just to have a little bit of variety. Don't want to go too long with it because, to be honest, otherwise there's going to be a lot of footage that just kind of gets boring after a while. And for me, for this information, don't want to keep you lingering too long, but do want to show you a little bit more examples and then go from there, kind of show you and explain which ones I like the best because I do have a favorite. Well, we're done with all of the different frame rates. Which one was your favorite? Let me know down below, and I'm about to tell you mine as well. For me, I really do enjoy different frame rates for different purposes, but there is always one that I tend to cater to most just because it's something that I use most of the time. I really do shoot mostly in 4K 24 frames per second, but I do notice that I'll use my 120 frames per second on my Sony A7S III when needed because, to be honest, I can slow it down to 40% or the 20% if I wanted to do it like if it was 60 frames per second shot, and not many people will notice a difference just because sometimes I don't have the time to switch back and forth. It just makes it easier for me. I rarely use the 240 frames per second. Honestly, today was probably the first time in months that I've used it just because I don't have much use of it for my type of style of work. But it is kind of cool to see that super slow motion. It just looks so buttery smooth that it's really enticing because it's something that you're not used to with your normal eye. You see just that, motion blur kind of style. So it's kind of cool to see that slow down, and for me to see my swing going in that super slow motion, it's really cool because I don't get to see that often, especially as a third person perspective. I mean, obviously never seeing myself when I'm seeing the POV style of me hitting, can't really slow it down or see the outside perspective. So that's something that's really cool to me. For the most part, I honestly just use a 4K 120 when it comes down to my Sony A7S III. And if I'm shooting with my Sony A7 IV, I tend to use that 4K 60 frames per second, and sometimes a 1080p with 120 frames per second if I wanted to match a little bit what I've been shooting with my Sony A7S III. That's kind of, you know, depending on the mode, that's kind of what I go with, because I know I can kind of slow it down to a certain, you know, percentage, and it'll still look pretty smooth because I've had the extra frame rates that I don't think anybody has ever said, oh man, you used a little bit, you got 120 frames per second footage and slowed it down to 40% instead of 20, so it's not professional now. I don't think anybody noticed. So yeah, that's just my little takeaway from that. But to me, the different frame rates is always kind of really great to know what they look like, to know what I want to use them in each project. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to use this kind of experiment, to show you guys the different frame rates, to see what could help you out. Today we did a little bit more kind of motion, so that's the main reason why we, you know, picked this sport and everything. Well, one, I do tennis. I've done tennis my whole life, so, and I have a tennis academy, so shameless plug here. It's Easy Tiger Tennis, you know, Easy Tiger Creative, Easy Tiger Tennis. So if you know anybody in the North Houston area that wants tennis, you can come to my academy. But besides the point of that, I wanted to do that because it just shows you the difference of motion. Sometimes it's good to slow things down. Sometimes it's good to have that speed to show the difference of, you know, intensity or whatever you want to kind of portray in the mood. And for me, that's the main reason why different frame rates matter. I'm not going to do a super slow motion shot whenever I need to see that intensity of how intense, let's say that race is, or the sport or the fight or something is. I might want to kind of bring it all going. Maybe when I want to show the damage of something, let's say in a fight, I want to show that punch to showcase what it does to the face in super slow motion. It makes sense to do that, to show a little bit of a different, basically, sight that we are not really used to seeing because it happens so fast. So different frame rates are used for different purposes. You just have to figure out which one works best with your story. For me in tennis, I like to showcase a little bit more of the faster pace, because especially when I use this for my social media, for my tennis academy, I want to showcase people the intensity that we go with, not so much the slow motion, unless I'm wanting to show them maybe the technicalities, how I show them the technique, show them how it looks so they can really see step by step to help them out. So that's how I use different frame rates for my work and for everything that I need to use. So hopefully it helps you out to figure out what could work out best for you to create whenever it comes down to different frame rates, and to choose a camera that has different frame rates that could work best for you. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.